And we are live, everybody. Very pleased to have David Steele, the Vice President of the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt, here to tell us about the treasure hunt, the upcoming treasure hunt, the newest ride in the Treasure Hunt Amusement Park, and to answer questions. But first, let me do this real quick, and I'll share the link for everybody. Here we go.
It's open when it's light, it's open when it's dark. It's the Treasure Hunt Amusement Park. Masquerade and Forest Fen are closed, but there are plenty more rides than just those. There's Beacon Star and Treasure Man, Vegas Die and Oak Island. Give 'em a try and you'll be smiling. This place never closes, that's for certain. There's always a reason to keep searching. Boots on the ground, look, look, look. Your ticket to the ride is the book. The dream of the treasure is the hook. The dream of the treasure is the hook. Keep searching forever, start searching now. Grand adventures with kpro and Cow. The secret, a gypsy's kiss, the whistle pig. Come watch our show, win a prize, little or big. This place never closes, that's for certain. There's always a reason to keep searching. Boots on the ground, look, look, look. Your ticket to the ride is the book. The dream of the treasure is the hook. The dream of the treasure is the hook.
Okay, and there it is, the Treasure Hunt Amusement Park once again, and the newest ride is the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt. Thanks for being here with us, David.
Thank you very much for having me.
So I know everybody is interested in how exactly is this thing going to work. The biggest thing is, what is the release date? When can they start looking?
Release date, we're aiming right now at October 30th. That is when the book will be available on Amazon exclusively. It is an ebook, so you're not going to have a book delivered to your house. It'll be right there to your Kindle. If you don't have a Kindle app, which is free. I would imagine that practically everyone has one now that the pandemic has hit. Everyone's reading and stuff on their Kindles. The book will be released on the 30th, so everyone gets it at exactly the same time, exactly the same day. It's only $7.77. There are 4 locations somewhere in the continental United States. Each location has an item hidden, and the item is described when you solve any one of the 4 chapters. It will take you exactly to the spot, and it will describe what the item that you're looking for is. So if you go to that spot and you find that item is then worth $10,000. And that's 4 locations, 4 items, a 4-chapter book. For $7.77, you got 4 shots at $10,000.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And
good value.
Very helpful with a Kindle is it's searchable. You can search words if you it's searchable.
Yeah, if you think a word is a key word and you want to see how many times does this word appear in the chapter, where's the next occurrence of this word, that kind of thing. Very, very helpful.
And I understand, so we've talked prior to this in one of our Zooms, and I understand the story itself is about a group on a treasure hunt. But
it's a book about a treasure hunt where you are also going on a treasure hunt. Yeah, so it's very meta. The 4 chapters, it's 3 groups of 3 couples, and they are being led around the United States. They start off in Huntington Beach, California, and they go on various stops all around the United States. And at each stop, they have a quiz or a task or something that they have to do, kind of Amazing Race-ish. And whichever team wins that particular leg of the race gets cash, and the cash is provided by the benefactor. Originally, this was a 10-chapter book. The pandemic came along, and we decided, you know what, let's scale this thing back. Let's go 4 chapters this year and 6 chapters next summer. So that's what we're aiming to do. We're doing 4 chapters and then 6 chapters in the summer, because it's obviously very, very late in the year. And then that hints at the fact that this is not going to drag on for a decade. If we have no solutions in a 30-day period, we will start throwing clues out there. So this is not going to be an open-ended treasure hunt. We want winners. We want this wrapped up by next summer, and then we're going to do it again next summer. And the next one will be six treasures.
And those you plan on, as long as this is a success, right. You plan on 6 chapters, $10,000 each.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. The four items are already in place, and one of the items is already in place for next year. So, so 5 items are technically in place, but only 4 of them are directed in the book.
And you're confident that those will not be stumbled upon by somebody that's a non-treasure seeker that has not read the book, in other words.
There is an item that is in place and is revealed in the first book, in one of the chapters, and that item has been in its place for 9 years.
9 years.
It has been in its place for 9 years. Literally dozens or hundreds of people go by this thing every day, and at any time within the last 9 years, it could easily have been discovered, and yet it hasn't. It's just a common item, all the things that we have hidden, and I want to stress hidden because none of these items are buried. They're all simply hidden. Don't bring your shovels. Okay. Don't bring your metal detectors. You don't need anything like that. The chapter will direct you exactly to the spot, to the location. You will find a hidden item, and this one hidden item has been there for 9 years. So it is very unlikely that someone is going to find one of the items. However, if for some reason you get to the spot and the item isn't there, you've gone to the exact spot and you know where you're supposed to be looking, you know what you're looking for, and yet the item isn't there, you'll contact us and the method will be revealed in the book. Basically, it's, you know, an email address, and you'll say, we're here. Here's our solution. We have solved chapter 3. It has directed us to, and the example that we use is, I'm in the Austin, Texas area. So the example I always use is, if you solve a chapter and it spells out Zilker Park, Philosopher's Rock, Egypt coin, you know exactly where you're going. Even if you don't know where Zilker Park is, you go on Google, you Google Zilker Park. Oh, it's in Austin, Texas. Philosopher's Rock. I wonder what that is. You Google it. Oh, there's a statue of 3 guys sitting on a rock and they're having a discussion. Egypt coin. Well, that's what you're looking for. So you either go to Austin, go to Philosopher's Rock and look for the Egypt coin, or maybe you find someone that lives a lot closer than you do, because maybe you live in Seattle, maybe you live in Maine, Florida, but you know someone who works in the tech industry or works in the entertainment industry in Austin, and you make a deal with them. They go out to Philosopher's Rock, they look up and down, they search for the Egypt coin for an hour, they can't find it. Contact us and you say, we have the solution. It's Zilker Park, Philosopher's Rock, Egypt coin. We're there. Here's a bunch of pictures of us. We've searched all over the place. We can't find it. Within 72 hours, we will have a representative at the location. You can go home. Your friend can go home. You don't have to wait there for 3 days. But within 72 hours, we'll have someone at the location to see if the thing is actually missing. If the thing is actually missing, then we will start a 48-hour clock. And within that 48 hours, if someone comes forward and says, oh, I found it. I found the Egypt coin. I didn't know what it was. What do I win? They only win $1,000 because you solved the puzzle. The key is solving it. You get $9,000. They stumbled upon it. They got lucky. They found the coin. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is nobody ever comes forward. The coin just went missing.
Right.
A kid got it, a crow got it, who knows? You'll get the full 10,000.
If whoever sends the correct solve in.
It's the solve that is the key. Now, here's the worst possible case scenario. We've started that 48-hour clock, and someone else comes forward within that 48 hours and says, oh, look, I have the coin, and I know the solve. It's Philosopher's Rock. Wait, no, it's Zilker Park, Philosopher's Rock, Egypt coin. If for some reason someone went and found the thing and then didn't give us the solution, they get 9,000, you only get 1,000. It still costs them $1,000 though. So there's no reason you would not immediately say, look, I found this thing and here's how you decode it. Because if you wait and you leave the park and then 20 minutes later, someone comes up right behind you, you've just cost yourself $1,000. So as soon as you find something, contact us, or you're there, you solve it. But again, you do have to be there. It's not just the solution. You can't just say, oh, we solved it. We'll only go if we know it's there. No, you've got to go.
So what if the unlikely scenario where I email you the correct solution, I say I went there, I couldn't find it, but when you
got
go
pictures
there,
to prove it, you've got video of yourself.
But when you go there, it is there. Somehow I just missed it. What do you do in that case? Do you confirm?
No 48-hour clock has begun. And because we won't be revealing where the item is, you'll know you'll have to go back. You'll know that you've missed it.
And I guess it's possible I could have decoded the chapter incorrectly, just somehow, and I'm in the wrong area. I guess that's a possibility.
How many people have decoded the wrong location in many different treasure hunts?
Right, that's correct. They think they're right, but obviously
swear it's the right one. It's definitely the right one. I used this method. I used that method, and it turns out they were wrong.
Yeah. So I will
if that's the case and you're at the location, obviously we're not going to send someone to the wrong location, but we'll wait a certain amount of time so that you think we're going to the location, and then we'll say the hunt continues.
Okay, so I'll take a time out and say, as everybody can see, kpro is not going to be on the program tonight, but she is in the chat. She's doing the moderation for us tonight. So thank you, kpro. And just remind everybody to thumbs the video up, super chat's on if you have a question related to the great U.S. treasure hunt, everybody.
I'm Dave.
You just have to have answers. So this is a boots on the ground treasure hunt. Everybody can solve it from home, but you've got to go get it. In other words, if somebody simply emails you the solution, but they never went to look, they don't win it.
We wouldn't even reply.
Okay, good.
If you haven't been there, we're not going to reply. Because if you're not going out and finding something, where's the romance?
Mm-hmm.
If it's not a treasure hunt, it's just a word puzzle in that case. The actual going and getting the thing, that's the awesome, that's what makes it a treasure hunt.
Is it open to people outside the U.S.?
Yes, but you still have to go to the U.S. to actually get the thing. Yes.
Or they could get a partner. If somebody outside the U.S. they could contact somebody.
If they know somebody, they can call them up and say, hey, go get this thing. And I do want to point this out. In addition to no digging, no metal detection, etc., all the places are safe and they're within 500 feet of parking. And it's free parking. So it's not a place where you're going in. It's not a gated area. It's not something where you're going to have to pay a fee to get into. So this is now narrowing it down for a whole lot of people, probably. You're not hiking out in a dangerous area. You're going to park your car. You're going to walk for maybe at the most 2 or 3 minutes, go right to the spot and find the thing.
And that was one of the questions. You do not have to pay to access where this item is.
Right. And it's in public. And if you don't know the difference between public and private, this is not the treasure hunt for you. Don't go up to the Bellagio fountain and start digging because the first chapter starts in Huntington Beach and it ends at the Bellagio fountains in Las Vegas.
This is where I'm at. Okay.
Exactly. Don't go to the Bellagio fountains, everyone. And don't dig around the planters. That's private property. It's in public, but it's owned by Bellagio. So
publicly owned area that's free to go to.
Yes, but exactly. That's exactly right.
And people, when they solve these chapters, whatever the method is, they'll know they have the right location. It's not an ambiguous thing.
No, it's not an ambiguous thing. In fact, I've been telling people that if it takes you more than one sentence to explain to someone else how you solved it, you haven't solved it. if you have to say, well, I took this from paragraph 1 and this from paragraph 3, and then what I did was I triangulated downward, and then I went to the public records in this county, and I discovered that no, you're already wildly off, wildly off.
But they're not that complicated.
Simplify. I don't want to say they're not complicated, but simplify. Yeah. I've seen some wacky solutions, with Forrest Hunt, and you see some videos and all of the machinations they go through. But then the poem was a complicated poem, and it turns out that when there's 17,000 homes of brown,
right.
you can end up with 17,000 different solutions, all wrong.
Well, let's just ask here. We got a couple questions in the chat.
Okay. I can only see you. I can't see the chat. I don't know why, but that's cool.
Okay. You guys will give out hints at a certain time if nobody has solved one. Is that
every 30 days that something does not get solved, a hint will come out either on Twitter or on YouTube, on something.
And in the description of the video down below, everybody, there's the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, the website. I did not add Twitter or Instagram, but if you go to the website,
you don't really have to. Yeah,
okay.
No. I mean, those things will really start churning once the hunt becomes active. We'll have a lot more stuff in there, because now, what's there to do other than make the book available? There's really no extra hints and stuff to give. But if we ever have to give extra hints, we'll probably do it through Facebook, the website, and Twitter, and YouTube. Yep.
Amy asks, does the area described in each individual chapter relate to the area in which we can find the corresponding item? Does the story
not necessarily
to the solution? But it could.
I would say not necessarily. And here we have a lot of compartmentalization. There's a good word on this effort. I know where all the items are, but I don't know the codes.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So you know where they're at, but you weren't involved in the process of hiding it in the chapters. Okay.
Right. Exactly. So I couldn't tell you, like I've been saying, Austin Park, or Zilker Park, Philosopher's Rock, Egypt coin. Now I might know that in Zilker Park, there's an Egypt coin hidden at Philosopher's Rock, but you may decode the message and it might be coin of Egypt, Rock of Philosophers, Austin, Zilker Park. Okay. So unless you know the exact words in the exact order, then you haven't actually decoded it. So yeah, I know where all 4 items are, but I couldn't tell you how to break the code.
Somebody asked.
So that's why I say not necessarily, because it's possible that there is something related.
That would be a good double fake if it is in the location that's in the story.
Right. Right.
Looking elsewhere. So
yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Somebody asked, "Are you the person that hid the item 9 years ago?"
I am the person that hid the item 9 years ago. Yes.
But not the other 3, just the one?
I've hidden at least 2 of the 4 items.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, technically 5, because there is one already hidden for the next hunt. So, okay, I'm going to give it up. I've hidden I've hidden 3 of the 5 items. There we go.
And I'm assuming before the treasure hunt starts on October 30th, somebody will check to make sure they're there. And then periodically throughout as this goes on, will somebody be out there to check?
I don't think we're going to have another, because 4 of the items were hidden fairly recently. I don't think we'll go recheck. None of these items are in a location that's dangerous, that would have flooded, where the thing would have washed away. It's not going to be, so I don't think there's really a need to check, because let's say if for some reason we hid an item and the very next day someone blundered along and found it, thus rendering the hunt impossible. You show up at that spot, you've decoded the message, and then you can't find the item. Well, you get the $10,000, because that person probably, if they found it 3 months ago when we first placed it, or 2 months ago, or however long ago it was, they're probably not going to have kept it, because it's not a valuable thing. None of these things are really valuable, and they're easily concealable. But if they found it, they might just think, "Oh, this is I wonder who left this thing here."
They could have thrown it away, not knowing.
Could have thrown it away, not knowing. Oh, this is going to be worth $1,000 if I hang on to it. So you would get the full $10,000 in that case. If something is missing and it walked away and it doesn't show back up within that 48-hour period from when we check, you'll get the full $10,000.
And again, what's important is the decoding of the chapter, not finding the actual item. You have to find the item, but if it's gone, you will get money as long as nobody else.
Yeah, if you just run out to your local park and just start looking all over the place, in public, oh, look, I found something. Is this it? Well, it's not. We're not going to reply to that. We're going to reply. You have to have, the exact decoded message. Yeah.
And each chapter will give a location and the item we're looking for, I'm assuming.
When you decode it, yes.
When you decode
the message specifically spells out literally the exact location. And when I say exact location, I don't mean Las Vegas, Nevada. I mean the exact spot. And you'd think, oh, gee, that's really tough. It's not. I mean, you can describe almost any place on Earth in about 6 or 7 words.
And it's got to be landmarks. I mean, just logically, you got to be using a landmark.
An object.
Go to this park and look for this, and it's there.
Right.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right.
Now, somebody did ask, they have the comparison to Forrest Fenn. Is this going to be a book about a treasure hunt where the finder's anonymous? We never know the solve. No. The entire community hates it. Will you guys give the solutions?
Yeah, that's one of the worst endings to a treasure hunt you can get. I mean, it's fine to have secrecy beforehand and during, but then at the end to just go, okay, somebody won. We don't know who. We don't know where it was. We're not going to explain any of the solutions. Bye.
Right.
That will not happen. We will have actual winners. We will spell out we'll give you the solutions. They're not hidden. They're right there in the book. So we will tell you exactly how each chapter was decoded. There's 4 different methods of decoding. So if you've used a method and you've decoded chapter 1 and you think, eureka, this will work all over the place. I'm going to do the same method on chapter 2, 3, and 4. Not going to work.
Okay.
So you're going to have to try a completely different method, but we will reveal all of that. The winners will be revealed. The locations will be revealed. The solutions will be, everything is going to be above board. And at the end, here's what all the things were. Well, as the winners win, you'll see them because there'll be pictures of them. Hey, we won. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We, whatever it is, because it's not $2 million. They're not going to try to hide from the IRS over 10,000. So they'll be out there. They'll be happy. And then we will reveal everything before the next hunt starts.
So and you mean the next one next year, correct?
Next summer. Yeah.
So can a winner remain anonymous if they don't? I mean, they may go and picture them with the check, but they don't want to give their real name or something.
Yes, if they want to, although we're still, I mean, it's a contest and it's a prize. If you're going to win $10,000, there's going to be some paperwork involved.
Gotcha.
One thing we are doing though, is that let's say you win day 1. October 30th comes out, you download something, you figure it out, you go out the next day because it's only 80 miles from your house. Lucky you. You find the thing. It's October 31st. Trick or treat. Boom, you found something worth $10,000. We will still come to your house with a giant fake check, just like this. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there it is. The
big fake check.
Nice.
That's the fake check. That goes on the wall. That's suitable for framing. You can put that in any living room, any
so they get to
dining
keep
room.
it. Oh, that's awesome.
Exactly.
They get to keep
you will
it.
keep it. It'll have your name on it. And then we'll give you the actual check, the one you really want, after January 1st. That way, you're not taxed on it until 2021 or until 2022. Rather than so you don't have to pay taxes on it for another year and 3 months rather than immediately paying taxes as income this year.
Gotcha. That's a consideration. Okay, for some people.
Yeah. I mean, you're saving some money there.
So Bobby D, who's very good at ciphers, has a question. What if you only solve half of it? What if you figure out the park or you figure out the landmark and you go and find it, but you didn't get the full solution? Like maybe you didn't figure out the state, or, if it's a 4-part solution and you figured out 3 and you find it, how does that work?
Your method will decode the entire message.
So there is no way
if you use a method, there's no stopping halfway and oops, I only found the park.
Okay.
We've asked the author, Thico de Master, not his real name.
I was going to ask you. That sure sounds made up.
Yes.
That sounds like an anagram. Everybody. Yeah.
Just split the word in a different location. You'll see it's the Code Master. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so it's Theco de Master.
The Code Master.
Yeah, the Code Master, Theco de Master.
I like it.
Right? So anyway, Theco has been instructed that the message should be spelled out. You're not getting the message piecemeal, one from one part of the chapter, one from another part. So you can't end up with only the state or only the location or only the item unless you literally stop decoding.
So each chapter has one solution method. It's not like part of it's Morse code and part of it's binary and part of it's one chapter, one
consistent method.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Can multiple people win? The 4 treasure hunts, can the same person win multiple?
It's extraordinarily unlikely, but I wouldn't rule it out. But it's extraordinarily unlikely.
But not against the rules.
Not against the rules.
Okay, interesting. I mean,
there will be a 30-day cushion period. So if you win on October 31st, you've got to wait 30 days. And then if you're such a genius that nobody else has figured out in 30 days, and then you go find number 2, then you can win 30 days later as well.
And that's a good way to do it. So if some genius doesn't just go get all 4 within a week somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And this was a concern with some of the people in the background of the hunt. They were like, well, what if someone wins all 4 on the first day? And I had to say, well, we're going to encode things so that that doesn't happen. Well, how do we know that's not going to happen? And so the description I used was, let's say someone on day 1 uses their horse method, and by their horse method, chapter 1 decodes to Zilker Park, Philosopher's Rock, Egypt coin. And they go, oh, I'm going to use the horse method on chapter 2. They use the horse method. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work on chapter 2, 3, 4. And they go, I'm going to use the lion method. Lion chapter 2, lion chapter 3 doesn't work. Giraffes doesn't work. Dog doesn't work. The cat method doesn't work. Dang, the bird method doesn't work. The eagle method doesn't work. Rats. Meanwhile, someone else is using the refrigerator method.
Right.
Are you following here?
Yeah.
It's a completely different type of method. So the person who solves something using the horse method is going to have to completely shift over to a completely different type of method. But they're probably not going to. They're probably going to go, okay, horse, dog, giraffe. Meanwhile, someone else is going banana, orange, tangerine method. The I don't like fruit, so I can't. That's all that I can come up. Oh, the grape method, and then suddenly they go, oh, the grape method worked, and they're going to use the fruit method on every single chapter. So it's 4 completely different types of methods. Okay. So that's another reason why it's unlikely that one person, frankly, will solve more than one of them. It's probably going to go to 4 different people. Okay.
And is it, the book is all text, or is there a obvious page where this
all
is
text? No, all text, no illustrations. That's one of the things that we wanted to avoid, because even though there have been some great treasure hunts with illustrations like Masquerade, Treasure's Trove, gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the other one that needed a lot of complicated illustrations. Oh, The Secret, of course, The Secret.
Yeah.
Illustrations are hard to do. I mean, you've got to be super, super talented, get a really talented artist in there. It's just so much easier to do it with text. And there's really no way to mess up text.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no interpretation of, oh, where's the finger of that guy pointing in the drawing? Was it pointing to the K or was it pointing to the U? That kind of thing.
Is another one that's like that. That's about to end after 10 years and nobody solved it, or 20 years, is it? That's the end date on that's coming up and nobody's just been able to figure it out.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's all text.
That's interesting. So it could be wordplay. It could be anything that uses text, really.
All I know is that Theco has used 4 different methods.
And it is the same person that has encoded all 4 chapters?
Same person has encoded all 4 chapters.
So somebody has supplied, like you, who hid the item, supplied him with what the solution should be, this is the name of the park, name of the, but he's the one who encodes it in the chapter.
He encodes it, and also he can put it in any order that he wants.
Right. Gotcha.
So that way he knows, and we know that, well, when someone sends the message in,
yeah,
we then feed it to him and go, is this the right solution? And
Gotcha.
if he says, nope, well, okay, then they didn't get it.
Okay. Interesting.
So that's because someone could find the thing.
Right.
And they go, oh, I found it. It was at Philosopher's Rock in Austin at Zilker Park. Well, okay, you clearly just found the thing, but you didn't decode the message, and decoding the message is what earns you the big bucks.
Interesting. Okay. Now I don't know if you know the answer to this, but will there be any hints in the story that help you with figuring out the methodology to solve it, or is it just more brute force? Read it and try.
That I don't know. I've read the book because I have a couple of print versions of the book that we've given to media and stuff. But I've read through it and I can't tell. There's nothing obvious that jumps out to me, for example, and I know where the things are.
I was just going to say, so, okay. All right. They want to know if you were involved in the Forrest Fenn hunt at all. Shout out to Nemo.
Loving treasure hunts. I got involved not at the very beginning, but I think I saw something on the news, 7, 8 years ago. It was probably Dateline or an ABC story or something like that. And it just, the more you got into it at the beginning, at least the more I got into it at the beginning, it seemed like there were so many different people with so many interpretations. And it was kind of obvious. At least I thought it was obvious, and I think this is why this hunt lasted so long. It seemed to require boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And now, as we found out over the last week or two, maybe it didn't really require boots on the ground. Maybe the numbers were staring at us the entire time. So I live in Austin, Texas. I'm not going to the Rocky Mountains to wander around looking for a thing. So just from a practical standpoint, I looked at it for a while. I thought it was interesting, but I thought, you know what? In reality, I'm not taking a trip to wherever I think it might be. I'm not going to solve it. So I looked at it from afar. I was like, oh, the Fenn treasure hunt is still going on, but I realistically knew that I was not going to ever find it.
And so you do have a background in treasure hunting. I mean, you mentioned Treasure Trove, you mentioned The Secret. You're aware of these other treasure hunts.
When The Secret first came out, I lived in Southern California, and I think I had just turned 21, so I could actually go to Vegas and blow all my money. But when the book came out, there's that one image of the genie, and in the desert, coming out of the he's coming out of the swirly thing, and he's a genie, and he's out in the desert. And I thought, well, you know what? Maybe that's the Aladdin Hotel.
Right.
I didn't know which stanza matched up, but I figured you're probably going to have to be there to see whatever landmarks you're going to need. So it was just me. I literally drove to Las Vegas. I got up early one morning, drove out to Vegas, took 3 or 4 hours. I messed around in Vegas looking at different angles of things, and I didn't see any genies, and I couldn't figure out which chapter married to which thing, and then I drove home. I
got in the car and went. Yeah.
You never know. I mean, you go out there and all of a sudden you see something that matches. You'd be like, oh yeah, this is it. Then I didn't try the Secret after that. And 9 out of 12 are still not found. And so that's one of the things that when I wanted to do my own treasure hunt or get a group together to do a treasure hunt, I wanted to make sure that it was not open-ended, that we have an end to this thing and that we have actual winners so that we can do another one and then hopefully keep doing them. But not have this mystery of decades later, still nobody's won 9 of these things.
So people are wondering what the Codemasters history is with treasure hunts, and have they designed any other prior treasure hunts before now?
Has designs, puzzles, and codes. I, until recently, owned an escape room. So
Oh.
I also did a lot of codes and puzzles and stuff. And so he's, a like-minded person. Every once in a while, I say, hey, how about one of these? You could do, here's a puzzle. And I'd be like, thank you, Thico, not your real name. And I'd use that in, one of my escape rooms. And he liked to build little things by hand, simple, but solvable. When you're doing an escape room, you need people to be able to solve things within 60 minutes. You can't come up, you can't do a puzzle that will stump people forever. So it has to be something that is attractive and hard enough to not be instantly recognizable, but also easy enough that if you have a few people trying to tackle it, it's not going to take more than 5, 6, 7 minutes to solve. Then we just had to make it harder in book form, because we don't want it to take 5 or 6 or 7 minutes. We don't want this on day one for all 4 people to go, oh, all 4 things have found. That would be, that would be a disaster. But hopefully it'll be hard enough that it'll engage people, and we will definitely have winners. And if we don't have a winner within 30 days, here comes a hint, here comes another after another 30 days, another 30 days. And if we start getting closer to summer where we're not having any winners, then we might do a clue every 5 days, every 3 days. Who knows? The clues might be easier because, like I said, we want to wrap it up. We want winners.
If people knew the Codemaster's real name, is it a recognizable name in the treasure hunt community? I mean, would they from other treasure hunts or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. He's a local guy here in Leander.
Okay.
The Leander, Cedar Park, Austin area. If anyone doesn't know where, probably a lot of people don't know where Leander is. Just north of Austin, Texas, northwest of Austin, Texas. There's a Leander and Cedar Park are 2 fairly big suburbs. So he's in the Austin area, but I don't think he's recognizable to the hunt community.
Okay. People have asked how many people are involved, how many total people are on your team or in the company to make this happen?
Fewer than 10.
Okay. Was this your idea originally, or did
it was my idea originally? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to do something that would be, like I said, winnable, a closed-ended thing, very easily definable. I didn't want some weird arcane sort of solutions. But then I also liked the element of in a treasures trove, the fact that the items were not buried. They were just hidden. But then one of the problems with a treasures trove is that they really weren't unique solutions. Once you had the method of solving one of the things, because they were drawings, you could essentially apply that same method to all of the drawings. And once the first group solved their puzzle, they put it online. Hey, here's how we solved it. And then people just started solving them left and right. If they had kept quiet about it, they may have been able to go and pick off, who knows, they may have been able to solve all of them. So I like the fact that they were hidden in public but not buried. But I wanted to make sure we avoided someone going and finding more than one of them. So that's why there's different methods for every chapter.
It sounds like you've thought of everything. I just wonder what quirky thing could come up that,
God, I hope no quirky things come up. That's the last thing you want.
Right.
I'm a quirky thing. Hi. Oh no.
Surprise.
I was hoping to avoid the quirky thing.
Right. Well,
I'm quirky, and I'm quirky enough for the hunt.
So a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have a device. Well, I pointed out there's a Kindle online reader. You don't have to have an actual.
There's an online reader, and there's on your phone. The Kindle app is free, so you can have your phone, and you can be reading, while you're attending your Zoom meeting and not really working. You're actually trying to solve the treasure hunt while your boss is watching you. But yeah, if you don't have a Kindle, if you have a smartphone, then you've got a Kindle.
Have you confirmed October 30th for the release date? I know when we talked before, you said there might have been some.
We are working with a member of the media who might want us to bump the start by 2 weeks.
2 weeks later.
Right. So we've been saying October 30th, and as of right now, we want it to be October 30th.
Mhm.
But if this media person comes back and says, let's go 2 weeks, I insist that we go 2 weeks later, then we'll just go 2 weeks later. No one's going to get a jump on the, no one's going to get a jump on anyone. So it would be whatever 2 weeks from October 30th is, because it will still be a Friday. So that's like November 12th or November 11th, something like that. 13th. I don't know what exactly 2 weeks from October 30th is. So there's a chance that it gets bumped 2 weeks.
But you'll let everybody know that. I mean, everybody will know ahead of time, right?
Yeah, exactly. We'll say, oh, we're starting, November 12th, November 13th instead. None of the items, all the items are hidden. So
right.
The date that it starts doesn't really affect anything.
And everything, when it's released, everything you need is in the book. It's not like something else will be released later.
You will not need anything else.
Everything's ready to go on day one. Technically, you could solve it on day
Absolutely.
one if you're smart enough. Okay.
You could a child could look at this and solve.
Good.
Yes. However, in this case, there really might, I truly think that there might be one or two kids that are 12, 13 years old. I read a story today about a 12-year-old who's starting college,
right.
and he's been a Mensa member since he was 3.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to take Mensa level intelligence to break some of these codes.
Right.
But again, I don't know, because I'm reading the book and I can't figure it out, and I know where the things are.
Right.
But there may be a method that a kid looks at and says to Mom, did you try this? Why would I try that? Well, did you try it? No. And then suddenly ZILKER park. Oops. Oh, this is it. And there might be people who start decoding correctly, and then because the name of the place might be unusual, they might quit in the middle of the decoding. Like, for example, I used Zilker Park as an example. You might start and get to ZILK and go, well, that's not going to spell anything.
Right.
And then you may bail on it. And then 2 weeks later, you hear Zilker Park and you go, oh, I had it. So if you decode something and, let it go 10, 11, 12, 13 letters.
And could it be an anagram? It could be jumbled where you've got to put the words.
I don't think we're using anagrams. I think everything is literally spelled out.
It'd be interesting to see what methods you guys use once the answers come out, once the solutions come out.
I'm as excited as you are to see what happens.
So we had a question on these printed books that the media have. Do those contain the clues? Are those ready to go?
The printed books are not going to be they're not going to be the same exact version as the electronic version. Gotcha. And it's very unlikely that you will get your hands on one of those printed books unless you're truly a member of the media. Like, for example, I think we've given out 5, and one of them went to the gentleman who interviewed Jeff Kessler for WITI in Milwaukee, Evan Peterson. He did a story this last weekend. He has a printed book. And so if you do go to the WITI website, it's probably off their website now because it's news and things churn, and it's already Thursday. And it seems like 3 weeks ago they ran the story. It was literally on Sunday.
And I found it on YouTube, and I'm going to put
if you go to the YouTube, WITI, Fox 6 Now, you'll find the Jeff Kessler interview there. And so Evan Peterson has one of the print books, but they're not given out to many people.
So we do have some people who watch who really collect treasure hunting book. Is there any way to get a printed copy once it's released, once this thing starts, or you don't?
Once the hunt is completely over, if we haven't given away all of the printed books to media, I'll send you at least, if we have 5 of them, I'll send you 5 of them. And then you can make them as like little raffle things or giveaways or whatever. If we still have 5 left,
gotcha,
I'll send you at least 5, and you can do what you want with them after the hunt is over.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. That'll work. That would be great. And we would give those away. And then I would keep one for myself. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Someday it may be worth dollars.
Right. You never know. Well, what would really be cool is for the people who win, maybe they would want a copy of
The
the book.
people who win will get a copy.
Good.
The 4 people who win will get 1 copy each. Yes.
And a copy.
And they'll know the chapter that they've decoded, and then they'll be able to see their chapter and go, oh, this chapter got changed a little bit.
Right.
Or oh, this chapter is exactly the same as it downloaded. But yeah, they'll get one.
Okay. So I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope it does come out October 30th, just because I have Friday. I have a 3-day weekend that week.
There you go.
To read it and actually, if it was within driving distance, to go take a look somewhere.
Absolutely.
But because you say in the story they go to the Bellagio, but that's okay. One of the other chapters could be in Vegas. It does not take place in Vegas. You know what I mean? They literally could be anywhere in the 48 continental United States, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Anywhere within the 48 continental United States. Not California. Not California.
Not in California? Is that a legal thing?
Not in California. It's not going to be in California. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because California never. It's a long story.
Okay.
It's a long story, but you're not going to be looking in California. So if your solve takes you to some park in California,
Sacramento, yeah.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, you ain't going there.
Well, that
Sorry,
is
California people. That's the way it goes.
That's breaking news, everybody. You heard it here first. Not in California.
Exactly.
So we've got one state eliminated. We've only got 40.
You only got 47 to go.
That's right.
The 4 items are separated by at least 500 miles apiece, and the 2 farthest apart are at least 2,000 miles apart. There are 3 different time zones, and both north and south of the Mason-Dixon line, and both east and west of the Mississippi. So truly a nationwide hunt.
So it almost sounds like the 4 areas. If you divided the map, there's kind of 4 areas, maybe. I'm guessing. But
both north and south of the Mason-Dixon line, east and west of the Mississippi, 3 different time zones, at least 2,000 miles apart, and at least 500 miles apart from each other.
Okay, interesting. I really like the way you've set this up. I like the parameters.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
we tried to think of everything.
You're right. It sounds like it. It sounds like it. Now, will we like the solution? Will we like the encryption method? That part is yet to be seen. We will see.
I hope so, because the forest fen solution, if it's the actual solution,
the latitude, longitude,
is pure genius.
Right.
Because it's been right there for you to see for 10 years. And all he had to do for 10 years, he has withheld saying one word. If he had said one word in response to anyone, they would have gotten it. And all he had to do is say the word numbers.
Right.
Because that's all you needed from the poem. You could ignore all the words. You could look at the numbers. And as soon as you look at the numbers, it's right there. It's spelled right out. So that part of the hunt is genius. Not so much, it's not so much genius that we're not going to tell you who won it, where it really was. Right. Is it really the numbers? Because now we don't know. Is that really where it was?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to have the solution. Hopefully it won't be something where people go, oh, I would have never thought of that. Oh, that's too complicated. Because like I said, we want it to be hard, but not so hard that 10 years down the road, nobody has solved it.
So you really plan on having them solved by the end of this year? Is that kind of the goal?
We're hoping February, March, so that we can get things going for summer of next year. Because we wanted to do it summer of this year.
Okay.
And something came along. I don't remember what it was, but something actually came along. And when people were told, don't leave the house or you're dead. So, so we kind of had to put that on hold. And now that people can crawl out of their bunkers, hopefully they can go out and find a few things and grab 10 grand.
Can you say if GPS coordinates, could there be latitude, longitude as a possible method in your book, or can you rule that out?
No, we can rule that out because, telling someone go to Philosopher's Rock is way more accurate than requiring someone to buy a GPS machine, GPS and blah, blah, blah. And then they just end up at Philosopher's Rock anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah. When you say Zilker Park, Philosopher's Rock, you don't need GPS.
Right.
You're at Philosopher's Rock, and there's an Egypt coin there somewhere, and we know it's not buried, so it must be tucked into a crevice somewhere. When you think about it, there are a lot of things that are ordinary things that can be very easily hidden.
Could you
Coins.
give examples of what they might be?
Coins, stamps. Let me just open my drawer here. And
Could
see
be anything. Is that what you're saying?
Could be anything. Let me see.
How about size wise? They're pretty small, whatever
Look
it
at
is.
this, a matchbook.
Matchbox. Yeah, nobody's gonna pick that up. That's right. If that's
Plus, you can tuck a matchbox. Look how flat that is. You can tuck a matchbook in anywhere.
So no digits required, but they could be hidden in some way, shape.
Yeah. Here's, I don't even know what this is. Looks like a cuticle smasher or something,
Right.
but I don't know. That could be tucked in somewhere. I don't know. Here's a rubber band.
Yeah.
You could
There you go.
take 3 rubber bands and put them in a certain configuration. And that could be in the solution. It could be Zilker Park, Philosopher's Rock, triple rubber band.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone else walks right by it, and yet you've wrapped this thing around a pole or something.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're not going to wrap something around a pole that people can see and go, "Oh, this is trash. Let's take this off. Let's take this off the pole." So that was probably a bad example. But if you use your imagination, there are a lot of things that can be very easily hidden, very easily concealed, that aren't worth much money. So that even if someone did kind of find something like this matchbook, if they saw it sticking out from the little crevice in which it was tucked, they may not grab it. Here's another thing. Oh, here's a hairpin.
Yeah, that would even be hard to find.
Hairpin. That would be tough to find. But if you knew what you were looking for and you knew where it was, you could find a hairpin.
So to be clear, there are no instructions with these proxy items. It's just the item by itself. The book.
It's the item by itself. Yeah, it doesn't say, "Hey, congratulations, you've won the the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt."
Yeah, that's a little bit different than with the treasure hunts we've dealt with. Usually, the proxy item has the contact instructions. So that's interesting.
No, yeah, you already know how to contact us because it'll be in the book, and it'll be in an email address, or you could just throw us a note on Facebook if you want to do a dance on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, or you Facebook live stream yourself as you found something at the location. Absolutely do that.
We did have a question if you want to go into it on who's bankrolling this thing. Do you have backers?
Yeah, it's private. It's backers, and obviously we have $40,000, so we've got $40,000, and obviously the sale of the book is going to hopefully repay that. And it's only $7.77. That's another thing we wanted to make sure that we kept the cost down, because there's a couple of hunts out there right now. There's the Michigan jeweler who went out of business, and he's burying a bunch of stuff in Michigan. But he's charging $50
a ticket,
for every single thing. And then you've got the Jelly Belly guy, again, $50 for every one that you want to enter. It just seems to me that prices a lot of people out of the game. So we thought, okay, we need to be under $10. So $7.77 is the pre-order price, and once we launch, we'll probably crank that all the way up to $9.99. But if you pre-order, it's definitely going to be $7.77 jackpot. So yeah, we wanted to keep the cost down, but still have a chance at making some money.
And out of the treasure hunts you just mentioned, I think this is the one I would definitely go with.
Awesome.
But the $7.77 price is definitely attractive. Is there a reason $7.77? Is that a hint?
Because it's a jackpot. Yeah, $7.77 jackpot.
Vegas. Okay.
Vegas, baby.
So you may have answered this, but we just had a question come up. Are you able to say that there is at least one hiding spot within X miles of anywhere in the continental U.S.? Trying to think.
Well, there was only 4 items, so it would be almost impossible with only 4 items. When we had 10 items originally, that was the original goal, was we were going to do 10. Then every single spot in the continental United States was covered by our 10 items with their 500-mile radius. Now that we've backed it down, I think we could say that over 150 million people live within 500 miles of at least one item.
It would be awesome just to
maybe it's 200 million. I think we did the math on that once. It was 150 to 200 million live within a 500-mile radius of at least one item. And some people live within the 500-mile radius of two items, because even though they're 500 miles apart, someone might kind of live
in the middle,
in the middle of two.
That's interesting. Okay. Well, the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt, $7.77. You can't
Jackpot.
beat that. Now, what do we always say on this show, everybody? Support treasure hunt creators. Buy one, buy two, buy one for a friend. And of course, these quirky things, this came up. I win one. Does my wife have to wait the 30 days? Is it one per household? You know,
Technically, come on, give me a break. Don't be greedy. Leave some scraps out there for the others.
Right, right. So
let's. If Joe McGuffin wins it on day one, Sylvia McGuffin is not going to be allowed to win it on day two.
One per household.
Yeah. But you know what Joe McGuffin's going to do? Because he's a jerk, he's going to call his next door neighbor, and he's going to go, "Hey, guess what? I solved another one. Kick back the money." So, and how can we keep from doing that?
So I'll give you $500 to go get it.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we won't run into that problem. Hopefully the things are the methods are different enough that we're going to have 4 different winners.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to think. Does anybody else have any other questions? I think we covered it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Really hope there's one in Nevada, but that is yet to be seen. Now that I know no California, I mean, that helps.
Definitely not in California.
I've got to go the other way instead of west. I might have to go east or north or south.
But you don't have to go west.
Right. There you go. Okay.
Don't go west, young man.
Yeah, exactly. And now somebody will decode it and it'll say California, and then they're going to get all upset, and you're going to be like, that's not the right decoding. You know.
Anyone watching right now, if you decode something and it says California, you've used the wrong method. So it's not in California. I'm not steering you wrong here. Okay. None of these items are in California. So if you swear that guy was lying, that Dave guy, he was just trying to throw everyone off, I'm not. Don't go to California. California Angels, by the way.
Oh, gotcha. Because you grew up there. That's right.
Stupid cat.
Oh, Halloween cat back there.
Do you see a cat over my shoulder?
He was there. He's gone. He knocked the book. He knocked the book off.
He knocked the book off, of course.
Yeah.
Because that's what cats do.
That's a hint, everybody.
Because they're quirky. They're quirky.
Name that cat. Pay attention to the cat in the story. That might be what the clues are.
Wait, is there a cat in the story? No, there's no cat in the story. Is there a cat in the story?
Are there?
No, there are no cats in the stories.
Kpro has a good question. Are there any red herrings in the story? Is there anything that might make you think something, but it's a red herring, it's false type thing?
I don't think so.
So in other words, and if you know, there's nothing else encoded that is not part of the solution.
Oh yeah, there's no double encoding of the wrong message that sends you to the wrong place. That would be horrible. No, we're not going to send someone on a wild goose chase and they get there and then we've left a note that says, "Ha ha," that's horrible. That's horrible. That we're not. It's funny, but we're not going to do it.
It'd be a big.
We'll do that next summer.
Right.
With that McGuffin guy that tried to win 2 prizes. We'll send him on the wild goose chase.
So Kpro says, are there any ciphers? And I will just say, in my opinion, then you can answer, there has to be. In other words, if all we have is a book full of text, it's either wordplay or there has to be a cipher encoding of some kind. We have to figure out.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Captain Marvel, anybody can win all 4 prizes, but when you win one, you have to wait 30 days before
you have to wait 30 days.
Win another one.
Yeah, it's
one per household for 30 days. Then you're
right.
They
and again, extraordinarily unlikely.
Bobby D says, are the puzzles in the poem and in poem or riddle style, or I don't think
it's a story.
It's obvious. It
is a story, and you won't have suddenly someone breaking into a poem.
Right.
You know, you in the middle of the chapter. At least I've read all the chapters. Somebody doesn't suddenly say, "I have a poem for you," and then 17 stanzas that you
like AGK. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So Captain Marvel, I think you joined us a little late because he did explain. She said, "Can I go get all 4 and just wait the 30 days to tell him?" If somebody decodes a chapter, goes and the item is gone, somebody else has it, and they email that proper solution in first, They
Right.
get 9,000. And if somebody comes along within a 48-hour timer with the proxy item and say, hey, I got it, they get the 1,000. Is that correct? It's whoever emails you the proper solution first.
It's the solution that,
The solution.
that is worth the money. Yeah,
Got
exactly.
Okay. So if you email the proper solution, you're at least
The
going to get
first per-
9,000, whether the proxy
The
item.
first person to both email and prove that they've actually been there,
Gotcha.
that's the person that wins the 9,000.
So
So
if
there's no
Oh.
reason for you to solve it, get the thing, and then sit on
Right.
your heels, because you're
Right.
only going to cost yourself money.
So if I figure out chapter 1, but I realize chapter 1 is in Maine and I'm all the way
Right.
in Nevada, and I email that to you, I've never went and looked. You're not going to reply. You're not going to
I'm
tell
not going to
me if I'm
reply.
right.
Yeah, I'm not going to say, oh, congratulations, you did it. Oh, you don't have a picture? Oh, right.
Look.
Yeah.
Okay. I
No,
got to.
you have to find someone that's closer to Maine than you are, and tell them, hey, drive up there. And I see here's a nice thing about the 9,000 1,000 split is that if you're a friendly friend, you can just tell someone, hey, go drive up there and get this thing. It's worth $1,000 to you, because then they'll have the thing, but they won't have the solution. So when they find the thing, they get 1,000. You've solved you've decoded the message.
Chapter,
You get the 9. So that's an easy way of saying, oh, if you have to have a proxy, or if you have to have a partner, go get it. But you've actually done the work of figuring out the puzzle, then you'll get 9 and they'll get 1.
Interesting. And
I mean, if I had someone call me tonight
Mhm.
and say, Dave, in Zilker Park, there's an Egypt coin by the Philosopher's Rock. I live in Seattle. I need you to drive down there and get that Egypt coin. Oh, what's in it for me? I would say, because I'm a jerk.
Yeah.
And they go $1,000. And I'd say, wow, $1,000, I'll go get it. Hey, I found the Egypt coin. There's 1,000. And that's what would happen. I would then get the 1,000, and the jerk from Seattle gets 9,000. He didn't even tell me that he got 9,000.
$1,000 is $1,000.
$1,000 for a 20-minute drive is not bad.
Yeah. Depending who you can find that's close enough. That's true.
Exactly.
So will anyone answer questions or emails from searchers once this?
We're not going to get into that. Yeah, no, that was one of the, in my opinion, one of the worst aspects of the Forest Fan hunt.
Good.
Some people seem to have inside information. He was giving me a hint. He was returning my emails. I did all this stuff with Forrest. And then just from an outside perspective of like, well, I don't live near Forrest's house. I can't go over and talk to him. That's not cool. So there won't be anyone answering questions, giving hints, giving clues. Because like I said, I know where the things are, but unless you could decode them, and I don't know that. So if someone stops me out on the street, hey, Dave, give me like, I can't help you. Well, you know where they are. Well, I'm not going to tell you clearly. Go ask Thico. I don't know who Thico is. Well, it's because it's a fake made up name, and we intentionally don't want you to know who he is. And so we wanted to avoid that, so that, it's all above board for everyone. And there aren't going to be backdoor hints to people and conversations with other hunters and stuff like that.
So you did answer this earlier, but let's go through it again just to make sure. I figure it out. I go to the location, but I don't find it. I email you. You have somebody go, but it's there. I just missed what happens.
You missed it.
There is no 14-hour timer then.
The hunt continues.
Gotcha.
The timer does not start.
But you won't let me know if I was right or not. I just have to go back, I guess. I mean, it seems to me if I decode it and I know what the solution is, it's pretty clear. I've just got to go back and look harder, I guess.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you have the correct solution.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have someone there within 72 hours if you send us the correct solution.
Right.
You don't know whether you have the correct solution or not, but we're going to check. And then if we go to check and the thing's still there,
right,
the hunt continues.
So it's kind of a two-step process. Decode the chapter and go get it. Or decode the chapter and have somebody else go get it. Decode the chapter, find out it's gone, and at least you'll get the full 10,000 or 9,000 if somebody else shows up with the proxy item in the 48-hour window. Okay.
Right. Correct.
Okay. All right. I think those are the scenarios. And, treasure hunters, they're going to come up with every scenario in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the point of the 30-day waiting period.
There's no climbing?
These are pretty
No
easily
climbing. So
accessible,
it's not up in a tree somewhere that you're going to have to lift your kid up to get it.
like treasure trove, not in a knothole of a tree.
Not in, well, it could be in a knothole.
Okay, but not way up.
Reachable. Yeah,
Okay.
it has to be reachable. It has to be something that's, maybe 6.5 feet down to ground level.
Yeah. So the 30-day period is only for the person who finds the first one. If I find one, yay, I got the check and everything. But 2 weeks later, somebody else on the East Coast finds one.
Right.
Then we don't know each other. That's permissible, right? The 30 days.
Right, because your clock is still running.
It's only a clock for me.
It's only a clock for you. And then that guy's clock starts. And so he's got a 30-day clock.
Okay. Somebody thought there'd be a 30-day period where, okay, understood. It's
where
only
nobody could win. No.
Gotcha.
Like I said, the disaster would be all 4 are found on the first day, right. But we're hoping that won't happen.
It all depends on Thico if he knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
How hard these are.
Yeah, Thico will end up in a shallow grave somewhere, and then you will need a metal detector, and there will be a book, Find Thico DeMaster's Corpse, a brand new treasure hunt.
The ultimate escape room.
Exactly.
Yeah, wherever you're going to put them. Because there are some very good cipher and code people that we know. We actually do Zooms a couple times a week to discuss these. We definitely will be doing one for this when it comes out. So it'll be a lot of fun. So, so looking forward to it. Okay. Well, I think that's it. We already did an hour. See how quickly that goes by? Yeah. Wow. An hour has gone by. So I did email you the link. If you want to post that anywhere, feel free.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining in, everybody. And again, this is Dave Steele, Vice President of the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt. We're looking forward to it. What do we know? We know 4 treasures, $10,000 each. We know not in California. We know no anagrams. We know no latitude, longitude. And that's about all we know. They're 500 miles from each other. And I think there's some good information. So anything.
It's an actual story that you will read. So even if you don't solve the puzzle, you read a fun story about some treasure hunters.
How long is the book? That's one we haven't discussed. How many pages?
I want to say each chapter that I've been reading. Well, this is when we have the print version. It came out to an 8.5 by 11, and printed, single space, however big that print is. Okay. I want to say each chapter came out to about maybe 11 or 12 pages, so not too long.
Maybe 40 or 50 pages.
Yeah, maybe 40 or 50 pages.
So you just hold it up and slowly go through each page?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to zoom in on what you showed. I know.
Yeah. Well, it's moving and my camera sucks, so I'm sure that you're not going to decode anything from that.
There's 5 chapters, correct? Isn't there like an explanation and then the 4 chapters?
There's the opening that has this rules and terms and conditions and email us here and don't go there, don't climb here, and all that kind of stuff.
And then 4 treasure hunts, 4 chapters.
4 different chapters. Yep. They start off in Huntington Beach, California. The hunters start in California. Chapter 1 ends in Las Vegas. I'll tell you where the chapter ends. Chapter 2 ends or involves the meteor crater in Arizona.
Chapter by it. Okay.
Oh no, wait. Chapter 1 ends at Bellagio. Chapter 2 ends. Stop. I have a cat.
Oh, gotcha. And what's the cat's name?
There's no cat. He landed on his feet.
Nice.
Chapter 1 ends at Bellagio. Chapter 2 ends at the Grand Canyon. Then there's the meteor crater, and Chapter 4 ends at Pikes Peak.
Interesting. Okay. Good old Colorado. Here's an interesting one, and this has come up in Map of the Dead. Is it okay? Can anybody get disqualified for publicly sharing something? If everybody wants to go to a forum and say, whatever, can groups work on this? And can you publicly share on a forum whatever you want?
Well, it's copyrighted. So
solution wise, not the story, but their solution of what they're working on. I think
here's the thing. Mm-hmm. If someone comes up with the correct solution, we're not splitting the prize 23 ways.
So one person gets to claim it.
The first person with the timestamp that comes in on the email with the absolute correct solution, that's the one person. Now, if 23 people are putting their heads together and they want to work out a contract or a handshake agreement where, we're going to split this thing 23 ways, we're still only writing the check to one person. Or 2 if it's a 9-1 split. If someone found a thing accidentally or on purpose, and then someone actually did the decoding, we're not going to do 23 different checks for $1,700 or $1,100 or obviously 10,000 divided by 23 is way lower than $1,100. But yeah, it's one check.
So it sounds like you will not get disqualified for anything, Bobby. It's the first one who gets there. That's who, and sends in a correct solution. That's who's getting the money. What they do with it from there is up to them.
Right.
Okay.
Although, yeah, one of our investor backers said, well, what if someone goes on Reddit and just downloads the entire book on Reddit? Okay, well, that's a copyright violation.
Right.
Don't be a douchebag. Don't do that. You're violating copyright. Also, if you do that, the odds of you then winning are very remote, because now everyone gets to read it for free.
Right.
And if you're an idiot who gave it away for free, do you really think that, let's say I came along and solved it, do you think I'm going to cut you in on it? No, you just gave it to me for free. Plus it's $7.77.
Right.
Buy it.
Yeah.
Just buy it. Yeah. Don't go to Reddit and look for it. One click, buy, download. You have it at your own leisure.
Can you say how pre-orders are going? I mean, have you got a bunch of sales already?
We've had a really good spike in sales since our interview in Milwaukee. So that really got us going. Obviously, if we go nationwide, then if a story came out on any of the networks, the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt starts tomorrow, they'd be like, okay, we'd have thousands and thousands and thousands of people, tens of thousands probably. But we're on our way.
Okay. Stuck in Chase Atlantia. That is correct. The subject of the stories are meaningless in decoding the message. You have a story, but the solutions are hidden. We do not believe they're related to the story. But I guess we don't know that for sure, since you don't know how they're encoded, huh?
Right. As I'm reading the story, and I'll just kind of paraphrase it, the benefactor has a bunch of people show up in a parking lot in Huntington Beach, California. Mm-hmm. They all get into different cars that he's provided for them, and then he leads them off on not a chase, but he just leads them off. They end up following him all the way to Las Vegas. They end up at Bellagio. One of them performs a particular task and wins that leg of the trip. I don't see how that task would tie into any of the locations. I'm not saying it doesn't.
Right.
And then the next chapter is they go to the Grand Canyon. Again, they drive along the way. They see the Hoover Dam. They see that giant spooky bridge. They go to the Grand Canyon. They're at the Grand Canyon. Another task is performed. A different group wins. Then they go to the meteor crater. Another task is performed. Another task is performed at Pikes Peak. And I don't see that they relate to the locations. But then again, I haven't really sat down and, tried to decode stuff because I know where everything is. So I don't really have to. So it'll be kind of a nice surprise for me. Like, oh, look how that was encoded.
Right.
Maybe I should have seen that. And hopefully a lot of people will react that same way. Like, oh, that was easier than I thought. Or, oh, rats, that was harder than I thought. A 7-year-old couldn't have come up with that, even a Mensa 7-year-old. Who knows?
Eleanor, if you are the winner, you can go boots on the ground for somebody else, but you cannot be a winner within 30 days. So I guess there's nothing preventing you from helping somebody else, but that person is going to get the win, not you, because you're prevented for 30 days.
Right. And boots on the ground connotes to me that a clue is kind of like the Forrest Fenn, go to a place and find the green. And when you see the green, take 7 steps to the left. Mm-hmm. Look over and see the horned devil of blah, blah. Like you have to actually be in that place to discover where the thing is. And that's not how it's going to be.
Okay, good.
But actually, the answer is going to be spelled out. So you won't need to go exploring. You will literally go right to the exact spot from the message that you decode.
Okay. Good. That's good. Outcast Searcher has a good question. The 48-hour timer for somebody that has correctly solved it but says the item is not there, is that publicly announced? Does everybody?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be either YouTube, website, Twitter, whatever we can get out there. 48-hour timer has started. If you have found an item, and obviously we're not going to say where it is. If you have found an item, turn it in and tell us what's the solution.
Right.
And if they found the item, because they'd have to have both the item and know where they found it, obviously. Like I said, that's the odds of that are, I think, slim to none, considering that one of these things has been out there for 9 years. Yeah. So I think that's remote, but just in case someone has what I call the accidental find, that would be worth $1,000 if it's then announced within the 48 hours.
Okay. All right. I think we've gone over every scenario possible.
I hope so.
Here, yeah.
Except the quirky scenarios.
Oh, well, one quirky one is that what if these are not found? What if we hit May, June of next year and Thaco
absolutely will be found
so hard?
The clues will get easier and easier and easier. Okay. We'll twist Thaco's arm until he basically spells it out for you.
So every 30 days will be 4 clues, one for each, or just one clue?
It'll just one clue after 30 days. And then if we start getting closer to summer and nothing's been found, we will shorten the clue time. We'll go 15 days, 10 days, 5 days, every single day if we have to.
Be a foot race after a while.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Last question. If you do know the solution that we've presented for Forest Fence poem, meaning latitude, longitude, numbers in the poem, what do you think of it personally?
Brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah. What is it? Is it 44261142 or 24?
42. It ends in 2. But it's
so 44261142.
I believe that's it. Yeah, offhand. Yeah. But the 2 at the very end is a decimal degree. So 2 and
well, then it's 42.2 because you loop back to the top.
Correct. And that 2 is actually 12. It's a decimal degree. So
right, because point 2 is 20% of an hour, which is 12 minutes.
Exactly. 12 seconds. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's 44, 26, 110, 42.2.
Correct. Yeah, I believe that is it. And that's great.
Yeah, I don't remember numbers or anything. I didn't run an escape room for 5 years. It's a genius solution. It absolutely is genius. If it's the actual solution and that's where the chest was actually hidden, then that is genius.
Correct. And we don't know.
And I just wish that the finder had come forward, that there were pictures by the finder of the chest in situ, and that the finder had revealed the solution, and the whole ending had been a lot cleaner.
Yeah, so I think we all agree. Because everybody except the finder agrees with you, I think.
Right.
For whatever reason, the finder wants to not deal with it. And whether that's IRS or legal or whatever those issues are, but that's something that eventually I think it'll come out. So, okay. Well, Dave, thank you for coming on. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're going to get a lot of orders, and it'll be a lot of fun. So, yeah, it'll be a good thing.
I hope so.
November.
That is what we're aiming for.
Say again.
That is what we're aiming for. We want people to have fun.
Good. And then to do an even bigger one or more next year would be awesome.
Next year we'll do 6, and if we can do a higher prize, if we could do 6 $25,000 prizes rather than 6 $10,000 prize. I mean, we want to ratchet things up. That would be awesome.
And that better go national because I mean that's huge. So let's hope this does as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We do appreciate it. We are going to do the AGK Zoom after this. So email me if you're already not on the list. Give me an email, and I will send out that link. Give me about 20 minutes, though. And, okay, thanks a lot. See you, everybody.